All right, it's January the 10th, the year 2020. I got a letter here from Lonnie Vernon. Lonnie Vernon and his wife have been sentenced to prison. I believe they should not be in prison, and Lonnie is the most grateful prisoner that I've ever written to. He's very friendly guy. He's a trucker. He's never had any record, and he was set up and entrapped by a satanic FBI. First page, Lord, grant me the needs I ask for, but more, I thank you for the wants I have already. He wrote it on the 5th, January the 5th. Dearest Rudy and Aaron, a blessed new year and all the peacefuls of gentle, quiet moments you both so deserve in the only grace that secures us all, who share the one King, who chose us for his journeys, unseen and every knowing test to task all our souls in the most courageous battles won and lost, but the fortitude to be fearless followers on his positive path. I don't need to elaborate, my dear family. All is in the greatest of hands with every abundance of God's natural law. Our always logical God, the giver of all our spiritual medicines that heal the wounded hearts and minds, that we do on occasion vent emotions as the natural safety valve. As I had an opportunity to read from a devotion, the sum of personality is to face up to it, no matter what it be's. Be courageous in his eternal quantity, with his undescribable honor to caress one another's needs. As a tear of agony in solution, or at times a temporary solution to agony, the way out is the way through it. Truth is the light that takes us through it. Amen. All right, there's 4 pages. That was the end of page 1. I'm going to page 2. Keep safe in your hearts and in God's love. Doesn't the quality of life mean more than its duration? And truly, expressly love this one. When I dig another out of trouble, the hole from which I lift him, the place where I bury my own emphasis. Let me read that again. When I dig another out of trouble, the hole from which I lift him is the place where I bury my own. Rudy and Aaron, mail here has been farmed out to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where I've had to send the third of packages of lawfuls as the most of the corrupt to all of this inferiors of so-called courts at all. Listen, I'm going to scan this and post it probably on ScribD on Facebook, and you know, his handwriting is such that I may be missing some words, but I do the best that I can. Of so-called courts et al., including U.S. attorneys, appointed judges, and all around non-Americans totally, but I've sent all that, now have had to send all our lawfuls to bar and trump, and he spells bar, B-A-R-R, to show cause, why we should not be released immediately. Dave's 3.5, 4 weeks ahead of my filings, and a brief to the Ninth Circuit is now readied for the San Francisco den to now, where 3 judges already recused themselves, 3 quit, and 1 who originally took all our habeas corpus to D.C. as the Supreme Court does not want to see any of the truth that would make them be all a history lesson to our constitutional being. Page 3. But the factual evidence has all up front and on the record. That phrase, factual evidence, you know who else says that is Dennis Morgan Hicks. I think he says like the factual facts because he knows that the prosecution and the state and the government, they always give like fake facts, just things that ain't true. But Lonnie writes, the factual evidence has all up front and on the record, and the only two that can lawfully participate other than this state or warden immediately release us or face the reality treason awaits all these of such pitiful selfishness and pathetic knowledge of our lawful efforts to prove them all liable for bad NETS, or I don't know what that word is, and all the truth to prove it. As you may have heard, a week back, before the Iran-Iraq nonsense, Trump mandated all the schools, private, public, homeschool, are to be by law, teach the Constitution 8 hours for 1 week, a month, or it will be 8 hours a week, till the young learn what principles apply to about time, huh? Guys, I sent Will a 5-page letter a couple of weeks back, but I know you're on your do let him know, and I pray for him and all of his family needs daily. By the way, Will is a friend of Lonnie, and I know that Will cares a great deal about prisoners. Also, yours always, I do. I realize this is too subject to male disease, as I've had more to my co-plaintiff returned as an undeliverable with the label I've used for 5 years now. But God sees all this, and he will validate their bad acts. Oh, bad acts. Okay. That might have been the word I was missing earlier. They are used to deceit by design. They are used to deceit by design. No matter, we believe and will endure to our eternal experiences in his promise. All right, the last page. I pray you've both had a plenty of together time, and I know the efforts to attend to your mother needs do consume you both. I have the same now also. Dad's 87 and just began to fail, and last couple of weeks, and to add insult to injury, had a new cut, his hand live as someone stole his ID to buy a car in Texas 3 weeks ago. So we're back to cell phone, but that broke and was replaced by the new one. Won't release on the code lockout, so do not be able to make contact. My sis is out of town, is on work, and I can call my brother to see how he's doing, but the dailies of this corrupted world sure do enter all our lives to constantly remind us evil is, but all our faith remains. It's freely ours to decide and keep. Rock solid to the only foundation we know. I'll call when you return and send an email too, but both of you are in my prayers. You're able and keep your ever safe. In the heart of Jesus, who is us, love you both dearly, Lonnie. Inspire the desire. Peace to you both. And that's from Lonnie Vernon, who I consider a friend. He's a trucker, and I consider him a man with a very good heart. Of course, the government has painted him out to be a domestic terrorist, which is absurd, and they even put his wife in prison. If you hear this, I do pray that you take the time to not only write Lonnie Vernon a letter of encouragement and prayers, but write his wife, Karen Vernon, a letter of prayers and encouragement. Thank you for your time.